But it is one of those towns that now, if you go by and see the sign, if you don't know a little more about it, there's not too much. Doesn't seem like there's too much to see, but it's worth knowing about, and birth stories being passed on to the local generation, the younger generation. And also to remember, if somebody says Angus is born, just tell them it's a bawdy mining town of Angus sleeping beneath the fields. Thank you.
Nancy, I think George has a question.
Yeah, my grandfather mined coal in Angus, and he had mined coal as a young man in England before
Yes.
he came here. And I was just wondering, well, and the story is that the mine caved in on his tools one night, so he decided to be a farmer instead. And I was just wondering, are there any records of his employment and membership in some like a union? Because I had at home somewhere I have a certificate, frame certificate that he had that showed he was a member of some kind of a mutual aid fraternity type thing, but I couldn't find it today.
I don't know. There might be some information in here. They've got clippings. They've got. I don't know about the membership in the union. Whether that would be. There's some maps of where houses and things were, but I don't recall anything about the union. Oh, I forgot one story I needed to tell you. So the miners would go to the taverns to have a good time. And one of the Methodist clergy, or a couple of them, were pursuing the evils of alcohol a little too vigorously. And so one night, mysteriously, the church burned, and no one was ever found guilty of it.
That book, I believe, usually is, Denise has a question, but I was going to say, is usually at the museum, back in those shelves back there. So we're open on Saturday mornings and Wednesday afternoons. If you're ever interested in stopping in and looking at some of the literature there, I think Jed is going to talk about it more, but you could look at the Angus book. Denise?
I just wanted to remind everybody that there's a coal mine in the back of this building. Yeah, a replica of a coal mine.
Okay, our next speaker is going to be Jed. Both Jed and Nancy are members of the Greene County Historical Society Board, and they are invaluable to us. They both do a lot for the museum. And so Jed Magee is going to talk about the towns of Adaza and Farlin. So we're going to go to a different direction.
Well, actually, I'm going to first talk about the towns of Cottonwood and Forest. I'll explain that later. I want to follow up on what Margaret said. This whole leafing through history started when several of us were sitting around here one day, board members, and we got to looking at books and things back there and said, you know, this is really interesting stuff. We should have some programs and tell people about all the resources we have here, like the book that Nancy has. And this is where I got all this stuff up here. And I've got about 10 hours worth of stuff, so settle in. For example, area churches, and it includes Farlin, includes Adaza, and churches. I also came across a handwritten list the other day back there. I don't know who did it, there's no name on it, but it's handwritten from 1892, all the churches in the county, up through about 1947, handwritten. Fascinating stuff, because probably 75% of those churches don't exist anymore. Well, the country churches. And here's another one. Area churches, rural churches of Greene County. Another book. I'm going to show you some of the resources. All these things come to that bookcase back there. And that's an amazing place, that bookcase stuff that's in there. In fact, mine was doing these things and other things. And the other day, I pulled out a diary. It's about 80 pages by Anne Schweiger. Anyway, it's handwritten. She started in Scotland, went to England. Her parents apparently very wealthy. Ended up in Missouri, New York, Tennessee, California, and ended up in Greene County. And I got interrupted on my stuff. I ended up reading for an hour. I realized I had to quit and get back to work. But that's what's back there in that book. Images of the past in Greene County. A wonderful book also. Let's see. And this is Rick Range book. Rick and someone, I think people here helped with it, 2011 or something. Another great resource. Good. Also, we have atlases of Greene County. This one is from 1950. This one is from 1909. I've marked the maps for Adaza and Farlin, so take a look. Here's one from 1900, back there in my bookcase. Also, I've marked Adaza, and it lists the statistics. Just pass those around and take a look at them. Here's an atlas from 1950, again, Farlin and Adaza. Also, lots of great advertising of businesses here and in all the other towns in the county. So take a look at that too. The great big one is 1917. We have a couple of these. Also in the back are maps of the town. Again, Farlin and Angus maps. So I'll pass this around too if you want to take a look at it. Besides all of those things, for example, another notebook of miscellaneous townships here, which includes Adaza and Farlin. One of the great things I found when looking through all that bookcases is this history of Sheridan and the Cedar Highland area. So it's not just Sheridan, but it's also Adaza, more so than Farlin. And the page I marked on page 63, and also some other pages marked, for example, it lists Cottonwood-Adaza. Cottonwood was the original name of the place. In about 1890, 1889, they built a couple houses by Cottonwood Grove up there, northwest of Sheridan. And for 9 years, it was known as Cottonwood. Houses kept being built, never became incorporated. And the legend is, and it's been repeated a number of times in all the materials, is that Captain Albert Head from Jefferson came to visit there after the railroad came in. He came in from Warville, Stubb from Warville. Captain Head stepped off the plane, got off the train and said, "Well, ain't it a daisy?" And that's in lots and lots of these materials. And so it became known as Adaza, never incorporated as a former town. First baby born in that town was named Adaza. I have to say that I did all this research, did a lot of work, and then about 10 days ago, a friend of mine gave me this article called Greene County News Online. She's sitting right there. She wrote a great article about Adaza and the Thursday Club, and that was in 2015. So I'm going to make sure that this is part of the library back there. But Denise Mann wrote a great article about it. Did you have tea that day with the Thursday Club?
Yes, yeah, I was there for their winter picnic.
And is that club still going?
I believe it is, and they're going to celebrate their 100th anniversary in 2025. So I bet it'll be a huge blowout.
Thursday Club that started in Adaza, Iowa. Still going today. And besides our bookcase back there, we have lots of materials in the back room. Photographs, newspaper articles, and other things. So I pulled some of those out. There aren't very many in some of these, but this one has a copy of the M.E. Church in Adaza, the Depot, Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Pacific Railroad. 2 depots at one time. Also a picture of a feed store. I was curious, I cheated a little bit, besides using the materials back here, I drove to Adaza. I never been there. I assumed it was bare farm ground, cornfield. And my God, there's an elevator there. Still stands. And I took some pictures of it.
You drove to it, so how did you go? Give
It's
us
5
directions.
it's 5 miles from Trinidad, and it's on a paved road, E13. And there's this great big elevator, and I took some pictures of it. Amazing, a couple houses there. But they also had a centennial committee that created a monument. See if I can find that. Here's a monument, a centennial monument. And in 1984, there was a sesquicentennial committee for the state, and one of the things they did was create a calendar. And the calendar has a picture also of the Adaza Air Depot, and a picture of their centennial monument that's still there. It's there today. And the monument, granted, is about this long. On one side is a map of Adaza, and it lists all the businesses at one time. And the other side is a list of all the people in the area that would live in that area and were responsible. So it really reminds me of the spot. Yes.
And the Thursday Club.
And the Thursday Club.
Put that
mentioned
monument up,
yes.
yeah.
Has a bench, has a flag, has flowers. It's really a nice little spot. But you can take a look at that also.
So I have, you maybe said, where is Adaza exactly? Which north?
4 or 5 miles from Sheridan.
Which
You
direction?
go north of Sheridan on highway to E13. Turn west, that's a mile down the road, on a paved road. I always thought there was nothing there. It was just bare farm ground and cornfield. So I was amazed to learn that there actually were some buildings there. Another piece of artifact that we have here in the museum, one of the things we have is a centennial quilt. When they did the centennial celebration for Adaza in 1984, they created a quilt. It's somewhere, we can't find it, but it's in this building, we hope, and I believe it's in this building. Someone donated it to us. If you didn't find it yet, they'd be dying. Today. Also, here's a program from that dedication in 1984. Indicates Bible readings, speech, singing of Adaza songs. There's 2 Adaza songs on the back. And the first one, I can't sing it, but it's to the tune of When You Wore a Tulip. There's a town in Greene County by the name of Adaza, a place by the side of the road. Here Charlie is king and Bessie our queen, and we're Lola the eldest of us all. We're having a party, a centennial party. Tonight we'll have a ball. Here ties are truer and stronger, and friendships last longer. And God is a friend of us all. Our stores, they have tumbled. Our churches have crumbled. Our toot-toot said goodbye. They'll always amaze you, the folks from Adaza, the best little town of them all. And then there's a second song, so I can pass this around also. What else is in here? Here's a photograph in this same envelope of the elevator in the depot. There were 2 elevators. The river came in about 1899, came stuff from Lowerville, and because of all the grain market, they're going to make it convenient for farmers to ship their grain. So that's another photograph. As I said, I cheated a little bit. I drove up there and took photographs. Here's a picture of the sign as our centennial marker. I'm going to pass these around. Here's the one half of the marker about Cottonwood, and it shows a map. This is a map of the town and lists the businesses, and I'll read those off. I'm sorry the picture isn't better. Here's the other side of the monument, lists the families that were in the area. Here's the marker on the road, E13, so you can't miss it. Adaza Pioneer Centennial Marker. The main street is called Adaza Street. And here's a picture of the elevator. I was amazed to see the elevator, and you can still read the caption with the name of it. Farmers Co-op Elevator, Adaza, Iowa. And somebody recently was a barn pull. Well, I'll pass these around, you can all take a look at these. The businesses listed in that monument, there are 15 of them, 15 businesses listed. Elevator, general store, school, post office, M.E. Church, Methodist Church, which got moved at some point from there to Lorville, I think, Lake City. A depot, another elevator, a bank, a lumberyard, a blacksmith shop, a hotel, a creamery, stockyards, a Christian church, sometimes called the Church of Christ, I've seen it both ways in one of the materials. A produce station. The spur line came in 1881. At one point, the population has been estimated, I've seen all kinds of things from 100 to 300 to 400 to 500. I don't know if there's a definitive answer to what the population was.